The Washington Place Fire by Rosie Saffron. I was in the dressing room of the 8th floor of the Ash building when I heard somebody cry, "Fire!" I left everything and ran for the door on the Washington Place side. The door was locked, and immediately there was a great jam of girls before it. The fire was on the other side, driving us away from the only door that the bosses had left open for us to use in going in or out. They had the doors locked all the time for fear that some of the girls might steal something. The fire had started on our floor, and quick as I had been in getting to the Washington Place door, the flames were already blazing fiercely and spreading fast. If we couldn't get out, we would all be roasted alive. Some girls were screaming. Some were beating the door with their fists. Some were trying to tear it open. Most of us were crazy with fear, and there was great confusion. Someone broke out the glass part of the door with something hard and heavy. I suppose the head of a machine, and I climbed out, or was pulled, through the broken glass and ran downstairs to the 6th floor, where someone took me down to the street. I got out to the street and watched the upper floors burning, and the girls hanging by their hands and then dropping as the fire reached up to them. There they were dead on the sidewalk. It was an awful, awful sight.
What you've just heard was a witness account from one of the survivors from the 1911 Triangle Shirtwaist factory fire. This incident has highlighted many of the owner's failures, especially in OSHA ethics. In this video, we'll be reviewing the owner's ethical failures and the importance of social responsibility in the corporate world.
The first failure from the owners is the failure of integrity. They fail to prioritize the safety of their worker and only care about the small possibility of theft. The act of locking the doors during work hours prove that they do not care about the workers' lives. This was an unethical choice, deliberately done to increase profit.
The next failure is the failure of the accountability. The owners were never held accountable for their unethical treatment towards the workers. During the criminal trial, they claimed that they didn't know the door was locked. This legal loophole helped them get away from the punishment. They were also fined again in 1913 for the exact same offense. This shows that the owners never learned from their mistakes before and failed to take accountability.
The last failure is the failure of fairness. The workers at the factory were permanently young women, mostly Jew and Italian immigrants. Therefore, many of them are desperate for work to earn money so they can survive. The owner took advantage of that to get cheap labor who won't question their action. This power imbalance violate every principle of social justice and professional OSHA code.
As you can see, the failures of the owners ended up as the catalyst for the worst incident in OSHA history. Moving on, we will be exploring the failures of corporate social responsibility and the power of collective social.
Corporate responsibility isn't just increasing profit. They are also responsible for the social aspect between employers and employees. The factory's owner viewed their only responsibility as profit. This causes them to treat their workers as low-cost, expendable resources.
The power of collective social came from the reaction of the public at that time to the incident. Over 315,000 citizens marched in the funeral protest demanding change. Politicians channeled the public anger into the factory investigating commission. This resulted in the government having a social responsibility to protect workers from the unsafe workplace.
In short, the Triangle Shirtwaist tragedy was an incident that could have been avoided if the owners were more caring to their workers. This tragedy ended hundreds of lives, but it also resulted in a more comprehensive OSHA legislation that has greatly reduced workplace death count. Therefore, we must be thankful to the people who kept fighting for workers' safety and ensure that safety regulations at the workplace are always enforced.